Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, those who are following us online from our team's platform. My name is Glenn Farrugia. I'm the Director of Studies at the Institute of Tourism Studies. And today we shall be going through two of our important programs, the Higher National Diploma in Tourist Guiding and the Master in Arts, Master of Arts in Heritage Interpretation. These are two extremely interesting programs. Most of all, they lead to very interesting professions, which we will be discussing later on. However, we shall start with the first program, which is the Higher National Diploma in Tourist Guiding. This evening, we shall be dealing with the part-time mode of delivery of the program, which bears the same number of ECTSs. However, it's slightly longer because this is carried out on a part-time basis. It still has 120 credits. It is an MQF level 5 within the Malta qualification framework, so basically a step before the degree program, because a degree it's a level 6. And it is delivered over a period of 7 semesters. Each semester is roughly 3 months, starting in October and ending in the beginning of February or end of January. Here we are taking into consideration also the summer semester, which during a remodeling of the program, we have taken into account modules or practicum, which we'll be discussing later on, that will be held during the summer semester. So basically, let's start with the entry criteria for those of you who are interested in applying. Basically, the entry criteria is a combination of 3 A levels at MQF level 4, advanced level qualifications, one of which has to be a pass, that is A, B, or C, a MATSEC qualification, and of course, this has to add up, all the combination of the qualification has to add up to a maximum of 44 points as per the matrix that can be found in our prospectus. So if you want further information, of course, you can refer to our prospectus, which is uploaded online on its.edu.mt. Of course, further to the combination of A levels, we also require 5 passes at SSC and P level 3 or SEC qualification, O level, in English, mathematics, and Maltese. Of course, for non-Maltese applicants, we don't require the Maltese language as O level, but we would need proof that they have passed from the mother tongue language. Okay. We also consider the Prince's Trust as the program as equivalent for ordinary level. So those basically are the entry criteria. There are further entry criteria which you can see here. One can have also an ITS diploma in one of the study programs that we offer. So it's events, travel and tourism, food and beverage service, or food preparation and production. This is level 4. So the natural progression from MQF level 4 diploma is a higher national diploma, which is at MQF level 5, or else you can also apply as a mature student if you are older than 23. Of course, if you apply, you will be also subjected to certain criteria, such as interview. Of course, if a student submits the necessary documentation and ITS, the board, deems fit to accept this, of course, the student will be accepted. The Higher National Diploma offers a number of opportunities, but of course, before we have to go through the learning outcomes, the learning objectives of this Higher National Diploma, this study program in tourist guiding. And a student who wants to become a tourist guide should be expected to understand the role of the tourist guide and manage the complex concept well organized. Of course, prospective tourist guides and current tourist guides are the frontliners when it comes to tourism. So eventually it's very important that they are very well prepared. This tourist guiding course leads also to a license, so that also shows the importance of the study program as well as the profession. You cannot become a tourist guide if you provide the wrong information. Then of course one has to be extremely creative in the design and management of historical and thematic tours. Usually tourist guides, mainstream tourist guides, offer tours in most of the historical sites. Of course, other tourist guides who are extremely creative develop their own tours in specific areas, and they get specific requests. So of course the element of creativity within this module, as we will see later on, is extremely important. Then of course the student will evaluate and anticipate customer expectation during the implementation process of the tourist guide. Customer relations is extremely important for tourist guides. Again, you will be the frontliners when it comes to tourism experience. Tourist guides need to provide the best touristic experience to their clients, and therefore we literally stress on customer behavior, consumer behavior, as well as tourist expectation, but most of all the dynamics and the relationship between the tourist guide, the prospective tourist guide, as well as the student. So in this regard, we emphasize in elements which relate consumer behavior as well as customer relationship. Understand and explain the details, historical and cultural content of various itineraries on the site. Here we are mentioning the historical element of this course, but we also we should stress that this course actually does involve also a lot of natural history and the natural environment of Malta. Most of the tourists also do come here not only for the historical and the cultural element of the Maltese islands, but also about the natural environment of the Maltese islands. So we do have modules which specify this important element as well. Finally, of course, you will learn how to manage small tour groups and ensure safety of your customer as well as the satisfaction at all times. These are basically the modules, and when we speak about modules, literally they are sort of packet of information which are tied to specific credits, and by the credits I'm referring to these ECTSs. So basically each and every credit, each and every mini course leads to a number of ECTSs which are related to the contact hours that a student needs to carry out in class or online or in a blended format, as we will explain later on. So these are some of the modules that shall be delivered during the study program. So you have language, and as you can see, languages have a good number of ECTSs, especially because when you communicate with the different groups, the more languages you have, the more proficient you are in a specific language, the better you would, of course, do with your clients in terms of communication, but also you will have greater chance of getting different groups who speak different languages. So we really encourage that apart from the languages that are taken here at ITS, you also do your own courses outside wherever to get the license with more than 2 or 3 languages. Then you have, of course, field visits. Here at ITS, we stress that our students have to have practical experience. So it's not only the theory that matters, but the application of the theory. And a good deal of this course is related to field trips and field visit. And it's also divided in different parts. Usually these field visits for the part-time students, good to know that they are held on a Saturday in order to avoid clashes with work commitments. Then, of course, principles and practices of tourist guiding. This is a theoretical module that will introduce the core principles and the framework of tourist guiding. And then, of course, a number of modules with regards to history, to classical medieval period that will provide you with the necessary knowledge, skills, and competence to be able to provide such information to your clients. So that would be semester one. Semester two, once again, the language is recurring. The field visits part two, then of course we have the interpretation part of tour guiding. Later on we'll have the opportunity also to speak about another important program. In order to be successful in tourist guiding, you don't simply need to explain, but you need to interpret. And that is considered nowadays as an art, the art of interpretation. And you will be definitely guided on how to do this through the very interesting lectures which are carried out by our lecturers. Further content related to historical sites and different historical periods such as the Mediterranean studies, Knights period, sustainable tourism. Then, of course, in semester two, you will have a work placement, which amounts to 15 ECTSs, where you can work in a particular site or even carry out your own tours with the supervision of a licensed tourist guide. So that is very important. You can also carry out you can clock in the hours throughout the year. So it's not only bound to clock in the hours in summer. Of course, in summer it would be a good opportunity to increase the amount of hours, given that there would be a good amount of tourists in the coming years, but also you can carry out your own tours with the supervision of a licensed tourist guide, or else the ITS mentors, and clock in the necessary hours. So that would be semester three of year one, and then there is the third year, semester one, where you will have contemporary Malta, field visits, and digital communication and marketing. Of course, in the near future, you will be hopefully be able to organize your own tours, and marketing yourself is key for a successful operation in this sector. So we, as much as possible, try to provide the necessary skills and knowledge, as well as the competence to our students to be able to market themselves as well as their product. Tourist guiding is not only an art, but it's also a service product that each prospective tourist guide and tourist guide should give in the best way possible, because it will, of course, affect the outlook of the Maltese Islands and the tourism in general. What job roles? Of course, because usually students look at the end result of a study program, where this will lead me. And this is basically the answer. So most tourist guides work either on part-time or on a freelance basis. Then you can become gallery site officers, museum interpretation officer, as well as tourist information center manager. Okay. So that is about the tourist guide. If you have any questions, we will dedicate some time after the second program. We have also individuals who are following us online. May I remind you that you can type in your question via the portal, and then we will be able to discuss it at the end of the session. This is the second program in this information session, the Master of Arts in Heritage Interpretation. Earlier on, we have discuss the importance of interpretation, that is not description of an item, that is not information, but it is interpretation. And later on, we'll have also the opportunity to slightly discuss the concept. This is a master's, a recognized master degree at MQF level 7. So a higher national diploma is an MQF level 5. A degree is an MQF level 6 within the Malta qualifications framework and the European qualifications framework. And the master's degree is at MQF level 7. Fully recognized, EU-wide and internationally accredited by the National Commission for Further and Higher Education, and containing 90 ECTSs, and it's done part-time over a period of 32 months, including the practicum as well as the thesis. Some logistical information. Usually the lecture starts at 5:30, 5:30, and this is again an evening course, the Masters of Arts in Heritage Interpretation, an evening course to avoid clashes with work commitments of our prospective students. And the entry criteria is the first preference would be a first degree, so an MQF level 6 first cycle degree, or else an MQF level 5 full qualification, such as the higher national diploma in tourist guiding or any other higher national diploma, and you will be also asked to provide a portfolio so that the board could eventually see that you would be able to keep up with master's level learning. So that is very important for us. We don't set our student for failure. To the contrary, we help our students, including those who wish to do master's level courses. So the mode of teaching this time is blended learning. So most of these courses are theoretical, and here at ITS we have already been doing this for this program even pre-COVID. So it's not the COVID-19 that let ITS start pioneering in online learning, but we have Gazetting students who are following, who have been following for the last year this course, and we were also doing online classes. This time we will continue and provide the opportunity to our students to follow classes, or theoretical classes online, because of course the practical sessions need to be on site. So again, students will experience a variety of learning methods, because when we say blended, it's not only online or on site. It can be synchronous or asynchronous. That is, a lecturer can upload material on a virtual learning environment, and we use Moodle, and you can do your own self-study, or else synchronous, which is real-time web-enhanced face-to-face. Asynchronous is when you do your self-study with the guidance of the lecturer who uploads the material on the VLE portal. Okay? So, heritage interpretation. Earlier on, I explained that this is an art. Who is this chap here? It's Freeman Tilden, the person who actually pioneered heritage interpretation. This guy was a reporter in the 1940s and 50s who had a love for national parks in the United States and started writing. And of course, he came up with the principles of heritage interpretation in the 1957. In fact, he published his first book interpreting our heritage. And this is one of his quotes, which I love and which gives a context to heritage interpretation. And he says, through interpretation, understanding, through understanding, appreciation, and finally, through appreciation, protection. And of course, heritage interpretation is an advocate, the topic per se, for the protection of our heritage, but also our natural heritage, not only our historical or archaeological or cultural heritage, but also about our natural heritage. The modules that are covered here include principles of heritage interpretation, the core components and the theoretical framework that one would find in this particular program, interpretative strategies, research skills. Okay, later on we will see the final project that both higher national diploma students in tourist guiding as well as Master of Art and Heritage Interpretation will be doing. So research skills is very important. Some students who have been somehow not following academic programs for the last years and are somehow rusty when it comes to writing, we will be putting you back on track when it comes to research skills and academic writing, particularly within the study program that you chose. So in this case, it's heritage interpretation. Then again, interpreting the historical environment, and here you can see that we also give due importance to the natural nature interpretation. Innovation and entrepreneurship, again, we try to train and lead our students to have their own enterprise. Okay, and with this study program, you will be you will obtain the necessary skills and knowledge to do this. So if you have a creative mind, some critical thinking skills, and you would like to have your own enterprise in heritage and the heritage interpretation, you will of course be able to do that. Media and design and the use of digital technology in heritage interpretation. Again, heritage interpretation, it's not only a traditional face-to-face, so to say, physical interaction, but it is also digital interaction. And in a few minutes, we'll be having with us Mr. Martin De Battista, who is one of the lecturers who is specialized within this field, and he will join us digitally because right now he's in the middle of a lecture, and he will be sharing his experience both for the Higher National Diploma in Tourist Guiding, because he teaches in that study program, as well as the Master of Art in Heritage Interpretation. He is also the coordinator of the master's program here, master programs here at ITS. Of course, more modules, visitor study and audience segmentation, heritage and sustainable tourism development. Here you have the practicum and the thesis. Most of our students are extremely fearful of writing, but we will guide you in doing so. We will provide you first with research skills and before literally start writing, and academic writing skills, and we'll have also one-to-one mentoring, especially for those who have been away from academia for several years. Okay, you will be also assigned a personal supervisor to guide you in this regard. Okay, so next slide, please. Okay, employment opportunities. Again, students ask us, but where will this lead us? And these are some, I won't go through all of these. Some of them are museum curators, gallery site officer, docents, historical interpretation consultants, visitors experience executive, museum collections officer, multimedia producer. And of course, this is a level 7, a doctorate is a level 8, and this will also lead you, if you want, for those of you who want to become academics in the field of heritage interpretation. And this will also lead you to a PhD. Now, I would like to introduce Mr. Martin De Battista, one of our lecturers in heritage interpretation, as well as Higher National Diploma in Tourist Guiding, who will be sharing his experience, especially with the students. What are the dynamics between the lecturer and the master students, as well as the Higher National Diploma students. So if Martin is ready, we can literally send him live, and I will leave the floor to him.
Yes, hello.
Hi, Martin. How are you?
Hello. Hello. Okay.
Very good.
As
So
you,
I know that right now you are in the middle of a lecture, literally.
yes, I had to give them a break, but it's no problem. Yes, I was following you for the past 5 minutes, and what you said actually it's very relevant, and I wanted to build on it that our intention with the master's programs, in particular this master's in heritage interpretation, is to guide and support the students. In fact, most of the assessment is based on assignments and research and not on examinations. And we also appreciate the fact that most of the students are actually mature students. They don't have a lot of experience in academic writing. Maybe they have done their undergraduate course many years ago, so they find it a bit tough in the beginning until they do the running in, as we say in transport. But then you see a transformation, and I've seen this with the first cohort that we had earlier this year. We started the first time we launched the first time just a couple of weeks before this cursed pandemic disrupted all our plans. But since ITS has a track record of using online technologies, we've been using our Moodle VLE for many years now, and we had the infrastructure ready. We could easily move on to online learning, not just blended learning, but full online learning, and the experience has been quite good with our students. So on top of all this, we've managed to go through their first semester, and talking to our students, I could see the difference, even the way they presented their material, even their writing skills improved, their participation in the lectures, because we try to move away from simple lectures, that is the lecturer knows everything and talks on and on and on for a good 2 to 3 hours. But we try to make it as interesting as possible. We provide a lot of local examples and international examples, because one very interesting thing is that most of the students come with a lot of experience, either in heritage because they want to upskill or upgrade, and others have experience in other areas, and maybe they want to change their career path and go into heritage interpretation, but they also bring a lot of experience. The mature students have a lot of experience, and this adds a lot of what I call spice in our discussions, because we have a lot of different ideas coalescing, coming together. And usually I take the role of the not of the lecturer, but of the moderator, where I try to give enough time and enough space for everyone to express themselves. And obviously I try to handhold as much as possible in the first few weeks. So far the experience with our first group has been fantastic. We have students who are actually full-time employees of Heritage Malta, and an NGO who has very important heritage sites in Malta. We also have a couple of tour guides who actually want to upgrade and move on and not just do tour guiding. We also have aspiring heritage sites managers, and when we take everything together, I think there is a good basis for this course to move on. And what we can promise, that's me and you, Professor Farouk, just we're going to review and take a look at our experience during the past few months and improve further. I think that we've been off to a very good start, and unfortunately I don't have with me students who are doing the masters in heritage interpretation. It's from the other course. The lecture I have right now is from the MBA, but never mind. They will provide us with precious feedback to continue to improve this course, because we know that there is a need for for upskilling and upgrading, not because of the coronavirus, because it's giving us some breathing space in terms of the intensity of our tourism industry. Unfortunately, that had its own repercussions because some people have had their jobs on the line. But it gives us enough time to look inside, to review what we're doing, and come back with what we say in English with a vengeance, not vengeance as against people, with a vengeance against the virus and the pandemic, and be ready for when we will have hopefully our tourism levels back to the pre-COVID levels. So I'm quite op- optimist about this. I would like to thank the diverse group of students who have been a fantastic group. I've loved every minute with this group, and I look forward to meet new students in our next intake. And I can assure our viewers in this session one thing, that we're there to help them. We're there to make sure that they are successful. Obviously, some will find it a little bit easier or a little bit harder than others, depending on their experience and their skills and qualifications. But nevertheless, we're here to invest in them, because we know what investing in our students is investing in our heritage sector and in our tourism industry.
Thank you very much, Martin. We'll leave you to your work. Thanks
Thank
once
you.
again for joining us and for your intervention. I think it is very important for prospective students to hear firsthand an experience of a lecturer and not only of a student, to see the dynamics of what's going on behind the scene. Thank you, Martin.
Welcome.
We'll see you later.
Yeah, thank you.
So yes, going forward with our presentation, now there's some information, more logistical information, especially about the departments that we have. If we go to the next slide, so next slide, please. The departments and services, thank you. The registrar department, that is responsible for the student information management. The scheduling office, that is responsible for timetabling and fitting part-time timetables, trying to see that there are no clashes. We have the career guidance, so for those of you who wish to explore the possibility of changing completely your profession, our guidance department can also assist you in this regard. We have also well-being services. The well-being of our students, staff, academic, administrative, whatever, comes first. Okay, so we invest in well-being services. A lot of students, as well as other participants, do make use of this well-being services, not only because they might have issues, but they might also find it difficult to keep up with their studies. And of course, together with the guidance as well as the well-being officer, they draft a plan on how to facilitate the learning experience of a student finding difficulties to improve the situation. Of course, we do also have learning coaches. There is the internship department. So of course, the internship department is not only responsible to find international placements for our other students, but also for the master's students, Master of Arts in Heritage Interpretation, to find work. So we have a pool of contacts within the industry, and we facilitate the identification of work for our students, and the internship department does that role. Erasmus department, we have a library, we have a lot of resources, so all the resources that are required so that you can follow a particular module are either in our library as hard copy of books, or else in our online library. Earlier on, I have explained that there are the virtual learning environment system. For those of you who will be joining us as a student, all of you will have an account, and you will be expected to use this account and to use the ITS email. And in this platform, you will have also an online library, okay, with tons of resources to use. We have an international department and the curriculum and research department. Then, of course, the registrar department deals with all this stuff. I won't go into detail. This presentation will be uploaded eventually, so you will have access to it. But in short, the registrar department processes results, attendance, examination, application for enrollment in a particular course or for a progression to a particular course, external and internal, medical certificates, personal records, part-time and short courses, certificates, as well as graduation. So this is basically the remit of the registrar department. Then the second sort of sub-department within the registrar's department is the scheduling office, which deals with lecturers' timetables, student timetables, examination timetables, room allocation, invigilation, statistics, and a lot of other stuff. Some rules and regulations, of course, as a national higher education institution, government higher education institution in Malta, we do have our rules and regulations. These are to be found on our website. So for those prospective students who would like to join us, I strongly suggest that you go through this document. As well, it is imperative that all students are familiar with these regulations. Again, the applications, how you can apply. ITS is accepting online application, which is the easiest way to apply from the comfort of your home. Of course, you can upload the documents, the certificates that you have. You can find all the information about application on its.edu.mt. And then each program has its own link that will redirect you to the application. So you will be asked to upload a photo of you, your CV, your qualifications. Of course, for those of you who don't have any scanning equipment, you can take pictures with your mobile and then upload them accordingly. As long as they are legible, we do accept this system. Of course, then you will be asked to pay a non-refundable fee, administration fee of €5. And then when the application is completed, the admin fee is paid. This will be transferred immediately to the registrar department, who will be reviewing your credentials, your application, seeing that you are eligible according to the criteria, to the entry criteria of each study program, and you will be receiving a letter of acceptance or otherwise. Of course, for those individuals who do not have the necessary credentials but are borderline, we call them, then there will be a student cases board and, of course, an admissions board who will look into the specific ad hoc applications and then will communicate the outcome accordingly. So the practicum, earlier on I have mentioned that both the Higher National Diploma and Tourist Guiding Study Program as well as the Masters of Arts and Heritage Interpretation, both of them have practicals, a practical component, a practicum, a work placement, if you want to call it so. ITS will help you identify the work placement. For the tourist guiding, of course, there are particular coordinators who assist you in this regard and will guide you through this particular module. For the Masters in Heritage Interpretation, again, we encourage students to identify a particular workplace, but of course we do have agreements with different heritage infrastructures to be able to place our students in these and gain and clock in the necessary hours to be able to obtain the credit. So basically some information about the practicum. This is aimed at providing students with opportunities to undertake first-hand experience. Earlier on I have mentioned that basically we prepare our students not only from a theoretical point of view, but also from a practical point of view. It's very important that the practical element of a study program comes through this particular activity, which is the practicum. Then this work experience will be in line with the student's area of study. So we stress that a student following an MA heritage interpretation finds a workplace within the same sector. And then such an experience is crucial at providing students with a clear insight into the needs and demands that govern the local heritage industry, particularly with regard to the interpretation of and visitors' satisfaction. So that was all. Now I open the floor for questions, those who are here, or else other questions that we might have from those following us online. So the first question is whether this degree, the Masters in Heritage Interpretation, is recognized. Yes, as I said earlier, this is an MQF level 7 degree, internationally recognized and accredited by the National Commission for Further and Higher Education. We have a question here. I'm not sure whether we should give a mic or not, please. Yes? Yes, so basically, the national policy, for obvious reasons related to curriculum design and curriculum audit, quality assurance, each institution should revise the content of a particular study program at least every 5 years. So of course, you can somehow stretch the study program, even though it is not advisable. But of course, we have students who stretch this over a period of a maximum 5 years. It cannot be stretched more than that, because then there would be possible changes to the curriculum, and then there will be overlap in terms of content. I have a question here. Will lessons for the HND in tour guiding part-time be recorded? And is it mandatory to attend all lessons? I might not be always able to get off work before 6 p.m. Yes, we know the situation. Of course, these are in the evenings. Lectures often start at 5:30. Lessons will not always be recorded. So even though we do strongly believe in online blended learning, we also believe in the interaction, whether digital or traditional face-to-face, that the student should have with his or her lecturer. Not only that, but the element of discussion, particularly when it comes to level 5 higher national diploma, as well as Masters of Arts in Heritage Interpretation, discussion is key. Okay, you will become prospective tourist guides, and we expect you to speak directly. So if we have a question, and lecturers do question a lot their students, basically not to assess them there and then, but basically to train them, to get them used to answering questions posed by tourists. So therefore, that is why we are slightly reluctant to record the lectures unless there is extreme need, or if a student has a specific commitment. In that case, the student can ask the lecturer to record the session one-off, but it won't definitely be each and every lecture. So there is another question. Could we see the year 2 semester slide again, please? So year 2, but for which, if you can Let us know whether you're talking about heritage interpretation or else tourist guiding. So if we want to go back, so it's semester 2. Okay, so it's this. Yes. Probably the person who is following had a little bit of a shock when he or she saw the accounts and economics. So a recording of this event will definitely be online, as well as the presentation will be duly uploaded. This is the year 2 semester, and as I was saying, hopefully that the person who did this question is not afraid of accounts and economics. Jokes apart, we are not here to train you to become accountants or economics, but given the opportunity that prospective tourist guides may have in creating their own tours, we need to guide you, we need to train you in doing your own accounts, or at least if you have your own accountant, if you're extremely successful in your enterprise, you will understand the accounting terms as well as the accounts that are provided to you for your particular enterprise. Again, digital technologies for tourist guides and heritage interpretation, Maltese culture tracking and countryside walk. Again, there is an element of nature interpretation here, niche tourism, and the language number 2. And languages are extremely important for tourist guiding, as they will allow you to have an array of clients that you can get. So another question regarding the MA in Heritage Interpretation: are there any indications whether scholarship will again be available? Of course, we are in discussion with the Ministry for Tourism and Consumer Protection. We still we still suggest that you submit your application so that you can be the next in line in obtaining the scholarship. There are still a handful of scholarship available. So for those of you who wish to be considered for this scholarship, I strongly suggest that you submit your application. All right, so may I ask you, which program are you referring to? All right, so the scholarship is related to the Malta Tourism Authority. Okay, so if you got the information that you have been accepted, of course you should have received a letter from our end stating that you have been accepted, or this will be also sent in the coming weeks. Of course, when it comes to information related to entry, we are still processing because the applications are still open. Some students are asking us also for timetables, and usually timetables are provided to students later on during the beginning of the academic year. But of course, should you have any issues with regards to registrar department, earlier on I explained that they are responsible for accepting application and processing applications. You can always send an email on registrar@its.edu.mt or else literally call at our offices at the registrar's office and ask the queries there. Another question: do I have to attend the course in tourist guiding in case of having master's degree of tourism and the tour guide license other EU country? All right, so if I'm understanding well, this participant is asking whether the license for tourist guide is only attached with the higher national diploma in tourist guiding. So in principle, I would say yes. But of course, there is a professional qualification directive, NEU directive, which states that if you have a license in another EU country, you can come here, do an assessment with MTA and ITS, and then we assess you whether you are capable of conducting tours, detailed tours on Maltese sites and other Godzidin sites. And if you are capable of doing that, if you pass this assessment, we will inform the MTA that you are proficient in, and therefore MTA gives the license. I would like to stress that the licensing body is not the ITS, is not the Institute of Tourism Studies, but it is the Malta Tourism Authority that issues the licenses. ITS is only responsible for instructions. We have a question here, yes? Yes. All right. So, yes, for those of you who are following us, if you already have a guiding course, because of course in other EU countries there are even degrees in tourist guiding. What we usually do, the prospective candidate who wants the license goes with the qualifications at the Malta Tourism Authority licensing department. They usually then refer the file to us where we do a mapping of the qualifications, and we see that this is pretty much comparable. If we see that this is comparable to our qualifications, we of course inform the licensing department at MTA that this is in line with what we do, and eventually it is up to MTA again. It's at their discretion to decide whether to give the license, issue the license, or not. Then there is another question. Can you go back to the second year module for tourist guiding course as they were skipped? Also, what are the assessments for the courses? So, second year modules for tourist guiding. So it's this basically, year 2. Okay, because this is year 1 and this is year 2. Again, yes, so you have content related to historical and natural, environment of Malta, second language, again, field visits, niche tourism, accounts, and I have already discussed this. Assessment, of course, it depends on the particular module. If it's a field visit and it's a practical module, the assessment is a viva voce exam. So you would need to present or do part of tours of Malta guided by your lecturer who will be delivering this module, and you would need to do a viva voce exam. Some of the modules are assignment based and other modules are examination based. Some modules are a combination of both, and sometimes even 3 components, say a presentation, examination, as well as assignment. Of course, the modules are available online. So if you go on its.edu.mt, on the left-hand side, there is a yellow tab. On the fourth item is courses and modules. If you click on it, you can enter your information. You will be provided with a password, and you can have access to all modules of Higher National Diploma in Tourist Guiding as well as the MA. And there, at the end of each module descriptor, you will see the type of assessment for each module. Another question? So if you are accepted, yes, definitely. Definitely. The library is open every day until 1:30. So if you are accepted and you want to start doing some of the research, definitely. You will have also the online account available, and you would be able to download material online as well. So yes, in that regard, my answer is yes. More questions, please. Okay, another question, would it be possible to view this information and by recording, please? Yes, this session will be recorded and uploaded online very, very soon, following probably within 2 days, it will be available. Another question, so one would have the option to attend lectures physically or choose to follow online, please? Yes, that would be the option. So in principle, we are not discarding the traditional face-to-face. What we are doing is we are augmenting our mode of delivery by providing the opportunity to students who are, for example, in Gozo, or for some reason or another, are not able to attend physically, to attend those theoretical modules only online. So yes, that is an opportunity. How many times are the master's lectures held in a week? So often it's a maximum of 3 times a week, but going forward from the second semester onwards, you will have twice a week, and in most of the cases you will have also once a year a module where it is held in a modular way. That is, that you can close a module in 1 week. So we will advise our students ahead that, say, in 6 months' time you will have a modules that will take place from a Monday to Friday, from 8 till 4 o'clock in the morning, but in that time period you will be able to close off a module. Then, is a mature student eligible to get qualified scheme? Yes, definitely. If you are accepted, fully accepted as a student here at ITS and you pay taxes in Malta, you are eligible for Get Qualified scheme. May I remind you that the Get Qualified scheme is a tax rebate scheme. So one has to pay taxes and then get a tax credit upon successful completion of the course. Another question, I think the program is amazing and will probably applying as a mature student. Is this possible to do so after the full timetable is launched? Yes, definitely it's possible. As I said, our applications are most of the time are open and do remain open. What I suggest is that you apply as soon as possible to secure your place for the upcoming semester, and of course avoid disappointing yourself because there are limited places available. Okay, so there seems to be no other questions. I thank you for this very interesting information session. We had extremely good feedback from those who are following us online. If you have any further information, you can still follow our website on its.edu.mt, or else this recorded session, which will be uploaded in a maximum of 2 days. You can also call at our office anytime from 8 o'clock till 1:30, and we will be able to discuss further queries. Have a nice evening, everyone, and we look forward to having you with us as an ITS student. Thank you. Thank you, guys.